Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. An update from Ukraine with a new massive Russian missile and drone attack on Ukraine. That's the first topic. Second topic, we find out that Russia deploys a new jet-powered drone, and they use it now in Ukraine. They're advancing. Then we find out that Putin is ready for unconditional talks with Ukraine. And then we have Trump saying that he's threatening Russia with more sanctions, or maybe with the banking, and maybe who knows what. And regarding this subject, coming from this article, I will point out that Trump will use, I would say, 90% of the words media, the operatives in the US media use in order to blame Trump. So the media doesn't want, media has a view on that, has a horse in the race, just so you know. It's not impartial. So they say certain things in order to change policy. And that could be called political terrorism. And nevertheless, they are trying to say, hey, Trump, you want to make peace with Putin, which they don't want Trump to make peace with Putin, or US getting good relations with the Russians. Therefore, they're going to start saying, Trump, you're a baboon. Trump, this guy Putin doesn't want to stop the war. He's just trailing you along. He's just taking you as a fool. And we find the same justification now coming from Trump, saying, oh, Putin thinks that I'm a baboon. I'm going to show Putin. Now, I don't know if this is just a way of appeasing the baboons in the media, but we're going to find out. But Trump ignores or has a little different take on Russian civilian attacks in Ukraine versus the Ukrainian civilian attacks on Russia, including the bombing of that Russian general that occurred in Moscow a few days ago. I think it was yesterday. So let's go over the first topic. Here, Ukrainska Pravda. This is from the 26th of April 2025. Russians attack Ukraine with 3 missiles and 114 UAVs overnight. Russian troops have attacked Ukraine with Onyx anti-ship cruise missiles, 2 Kh-31P anti-radiation missiles, and 114 attack UAVs. A total of 66 Shahed attack UAVs were shot down in the east, north, south, and center of the country. Another 31 disappeared from radar without causing adverse effects. The Russians attack targeted Kirovohrad, Kharkiv, Kiev, and the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. So we're going to look over a map and see where these oblasts are located. So let's get a map of Ukraine. Okay, and here is they said in the north, Kiev right here, then say in the south, in this area, I have the Dnipropetrovsk in this area as well, and then you have in Kirovohrad right here, and then you have in the east, they said everything but the west of Ukraine, nothing in the west. So the other one was Kiev, Dnipropetrovsk, Kharkiv, and Kirovohrad. Kharkov is right in this area here. And make it smaller a little bit right here. So it was here, center, north, and south in Dnipropetrovsk. Let's see where the Russians launched their missiles, shall we? Do I have any information here? No problem, we have another one. Ukrinform. The same thing, and they say they launched them from where? Do we have the information here? Again, the same information, but no, we don't have the information where the Russians launched their attacks. No worries, we got another topic. New voice of Ukraine. Russia deploys new jet-powered Banderol drone against Ukraine. Jet-powered. Russian forces have begun using a new jet-powered drone dubbed Banderol to strike Ukraine, with recent attacks focused on Odessa Oblast, according to Defense Express citing communication. Odessa, where is Odessa? No worries, is right here by the Black Sea. This is Odessa, the city, right there, and we have Odessa, the Oblast, which runs like this around the Romanian border right here with Basarabia. This should be somewhere else right here, and this should be right here. Okay, let's see what this drone can do. Maybe the drone is reported to have a reactive jet engine enable speeds at approximately 400 to 500 kilometers per hour. That means you can't use probably low munition weapons, making it significantly faster than most drones previously deployed. No further tactical specifications for the Banderol are publicly available. So there's not available. New drone tactics, something like this. All right, next one. I'm going to go to, let's say, a little bit of interpretations of geopolitics, where Putin says, I am ready to discuss with Ukrainians with no strings attached, unconditional. All right, I give you that. But still, these guys in the West will not take that as truthful, because they say actions speak louder than words. Okay, I have to start with this. The war in Ukraine is still ongoing. Now, it doesn't mean that you stop everything and you negotiate. It could be done. That's one variant, possibility. You stop everything and you negotiate. The other one is you don't stop anything and you negotiate. The other one, you continue and don't negotiate shit. So in this case, we're in the middle. We still go at war and we negotiate. This is what things happen. These guys say, no, you have to stop first and then we negotiate. Then Russia says, no, we can negotiate while we're still at it. We can do both things. And these guys in the media don't want that to happen. Therefore, when this guy says, Putin reaffirms readiness for unconditional talks with Ukraine, according to the Kremlin, this is today from the 26th of April at 2:30 p.m. The issue was discussed during the Russian president's latest meeting with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. So Dmitry Peskov says. So Russian president reiterated Moscow's readiness for unconditional talks with Ukraine during a recent meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy. All right, speaking to reporters on Saturday, Peskov confirmed that the topic was brought up during the meeting between the Russian president and the U.S. special envoy. And I'm quoting, during yesterday's conversation with Trump's envoy Witkoff, Vladimir Putin reiterated that the Russian side is ready to resume the negotiation process with Ukraine without any preconditions. Nothing. All right, now, you can say that's just words. Well, we can say it about Trump as well. It's just words. Or can't we? Why, is Trump differently that got 2 pairs of balls or something? No, he's still a human being. Therefore, these guys are going to, and here is Trump, Russia Today, to the same date, and he says at 4 o'clock, so this is 4 o'clock, the other one was 2:30, but this is published by Russia, so Russia Today could have hold off onto this one, so it makes the chronology of events the way they want it. You know what I mean? If Trump would have been first with this, and then these guys would have shown up with this, and say, yeah, after that, but the Russians did it that way. I don't know the chronology, who said it first. But this guy met at the funeral of the Pope Francis in Rome. He met Zelensky Stein, he met Macron, he met the opossum Starmer. So he spoke with these guys over there. He's gonna meet Meloni. So I don't know if he already spoke now in Europe being about 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock p.m. So I don't know if he had already had the conversations. That means the statements he made after he was briefed by his bosses, I have no idea yet. Zelensky told him what to do. I don't know. Let's go to the article. Let's see what this guy is threatening Putin with. US President Donald Trump has accused his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin of launching attacks on Ukrainian civilian areas for no reason and not wanting to stop the war. It's not going to stop the war. We're going to negotiate that. I'm not saying I will. I want, but let's negotiate. The statement comes just as Russian President Vladimir Putin reiterated Moscow's readiness for unconditional talks with Kiev during a recent meeting with Trump's special envoy, which occurred yesterday. So if I go by the chronology of events, Putin said it yesterday to Witkoff, it's just published today, and then this guy came out today, we'll find out if it's today, and right there, Trump issued the threat in a post on Truth Social on Saturday. So yes, Putin said this first to Witkoff. The Russia Today and Peskov statement was from today, and then this guy posts this on today. So it's clearly this was after Putin said unconditional, no strings attached. And he said, shortly after a brief meeting with Ukrainian Vladimir Zelensky in Vatican. So again, he was briefed by the US president sharply criticized Russia's continuing long-range strikes against Ukraine, accusing Moscow of desiring to prolong the hostilities. Until we get to an understanding, you shut the fuck up because you came to my borders and now you're losing. Shh. You do what I tell you to do. You don't want to meet you in the parking lot, which is Ukraine. That's what's going on right now. So you don't want to stop. No, I don't want. I want to beat your ass now. You want to fight? Bring it on. And the guy's like, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hurt you. You've been trying for 3 years at least, directly, and you failed. So we are ready. Let's go. I mean, these guys again think that they deal with Putin like they deal with a loser. Don't they understand that for 3 years these guys could not topple Putin? Russia is not failing. Their economy is not destroyed. Their sanctions did not work. It's a big world out there, besides US and Europe. God damn, these guys are crazy. Right here. And this is what he says. And I'm quoting Trump. There was no reason. When I hear this no reason, it's so imbecilic from the get-go. For Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas. This is like you say, there's no reason for you to slap me. Well, maybe I like it. Now there's a reason for you. There's always a reason for something. It doesn't mean the reason you accept, the reason I tell you. The same. Russia attacked Ukraine, just unprovoked. And for no reason. Go and ask the Russians and you're going to find a big list of reasons that you don't want to hear about because you don't like, because they would point out to you being the piece of shit, with all this. And just get riled up here. Let's calm down. All right. So there was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas, cities and towns. I'm not supporting that. Over the last few days, it makes me think that maybe he doesn't want to stop the war. That is exactly what the media tells him. And Zelensky. He's just tapping me along. Again, this is what the media says. I'm reading every day the media. These are the words. And he has to be dealt with differently. Well, you've been trying. What do you mean? It's like with a child. When you tell a child, go and clean your room. Please go and clean your room. And the child says, no. And you say, well, this is what's going to be. I'm going to smack you. Or I'm not going to give you candies. Or you're not going to have a play day with Gina. How about that one? All right. So I have the power to do that, to threaten the kid with some consequences that I will make the kid do what I tell him to do. This is what the Russians told these baboons in the West all along. Treat us equally. We can't just push us around. But these guys, again, they go back to the, remember those, how do you call him, vinyl? They will skip. That's exactly. They just skip and they go in a boucle, the same rotation. They talk, hey, how are you doing? And are you doing okay? Hey, how are you doing? Are you doing, hey, how are you? They can't move on. They revert to the same delusion that they somehow are running the show. You're not running the show anymore. And I'm glad they don't, just so you know. Because I like diversity. Diversity is our strength. I don't want only Nike or Adidas or Puma or Asics. I like all of them, not only one. Only the Americans like their system, supposedly two-party system, which is actually one. But anyway, but they're very, 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 we're free. Jesus Christ. All right. And has to be dealt differently. Through banking, you're talking, he's fucking your dollar in no time. And secondary sanctions, too many people are dying. Oh, that's true. Okay. So this is what Putin said to that. When he was told about, hey, you're attacking in Sumy, those guys over there, and long-range missiles, he said, we only strike military targets or civilian sites used by the military. Now, if the military hide, let's say in a theater, they're going to hunt them. Clear? Clear. If you don't like that, talk to Israel. I want to hear Trump telling Israel the same thing. I'm listening. He was not there. Why? Because he's owned. That's why. He would not tell this in the Middle East whatsoever. He wants to make over there the Mediterranean Riviera on someone else's land with someone else's money to the benefit of someone else. With our, all right, my friends, come on. So it's true. Now, remember, he received a pager, a golden pager from Benjamin Netanyahu, who's wanted by the International Criminal Court of The Hague, ICC court, with an arrest warrant. He received that and he was very happy to see that pager. You know what that pager was? The Mossad or the intelligence, whomever, the military in Israel, they put explosive in those, send it to some. They got it while they were with the kids, probably around, or with family, and out of those they exploded in the hands of whomever used them. And there were more civilians dead or injured than the ones that these guys intended to kill through the pagers and the walkie-talkies. Nobody said anything about the collateral damage. They say, hey, how about that one, Trump? I want to hear you. That's why I can't. He's not our guy. He is not our guy. He would say, what? That's right there, terrorism right there. But he tells Putin, maybe we have to deal with you some differently. How about the other ones? And I just gave you just the pager. How about hospitals that are bombarded? Oh, the Hamas were hiding over there. Well, there were some people over there injured or people sick. Look at Gaza. Look at Gaza how it is. Look at Gaza. And then you talk. And Trump is, maybe we can fight Iran for them. Fuck you. Anyway, and let me show you how he reacted to this bombing. That's a criminal act right here. You say it's only war? If it's only war, imagine a country that considers itself at war with the United States of America doing the same thing. So let's say Iran considers itself at war with Russia, with the United States of America. Can they bomb a general in Washington, D.C.? No, that would be a terrorist act, obviously. But hey, we did it. Didn't we kill that, I don't know if it was good or bad, the guy over there in Iraq? And the Iranian general, didn't we, and Trump was so happy in the first term, did it for whom? He still mentioned that as being a fantastic act that he did. What if those guys did the same thing to you? The only reason you justify those things is, I'm good, you're bad. Says whom? I identify as good and I identify you as bad. You don't have the right to do the same thing I do to you. Like you identify yourself as good and identify me as bad. We don't have all of a sudden arbiters. We don't have objectivity. We can't measure who's good and who's bad. We can. That's why I cannot root for that. And Trump is not our guy. That's for sure. That's for sure. Trump responds to Moscow car bombing that killed Russian general. The Kremlin suspects that the assassination of Yaroslav Moskalik was orchestrated by Ukraine. US President Donald Trump has promised to look into the assassination. Why don't you try to, let's say, how do you go over there? Why don't you try to, let's say, sanction or banking? And regarding the banking, what are you going to do? These guys are going to fuck you up with your petrodollar. BRICS will screw you. I'm going to destroy them. You can destroy China alone, let alone Russia and others. Militarily, you failed in Ukraine. Financially, you're going to show your limitations with China. You dropped everybody else just to focus on China. Why? Because you knew that you can't fight everybody in the same time. But you threatened everybody. You bluffed. And I'm doing it 90 days because I'm a nice guy. No, you can't. You can't. Otherwise, you would do it. Like right now, I'm going to do this to banking. What banking? You have a fake dollar that you print how much you want out of it. Your economy is in a deficit. That means you spend more than you produce. You print money. That causes inflation. What are you talking about? And you threaten everybody. Everybody in the same time. That's delusional. That's delusional. And besides, you make the Arabs send their oil into the market only on dollars. Why not on everything else? Let's say in rubles, let's say in euros, let's say in yuan. Why not? Because we say so. If you touch that rule, we're going to attack you, we're going to bomb you. What is this? Is this free markets to you? If the Arabs tomorrow are allowed to sell and everybody else to buy oil in whatever they want, we in America are going to have a real hard time. We're going to be in a recession overnight just like that. So he knows it. So how is it threatening Russia? They tried to destroy the ruble for 3.5 years already. It didn't collapse. Man, this is delusional. This is delusional. All right, let's go back here. So this is what he said. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman Maria Zakharova suggested that there is reason to believe the Ukrainian intelligence services were involved in the assassination. No, well, I don't know. We don't know. They don't know. Well, let's see what Trump said. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One on Friday, Trump, who apparently had not known about the incident until he was asked, said, "That's hitting close to home, right? That's a big one. I look into it. If I hear anything, I let you know." That means leave me alone. Look at it differently. If these guys in Ukraine, let's say they were the Ukrainians, they are doing this to the Russians. Remember, there were civilians bombarded by the Ukrainians. Remember Daria Dugina and the guy, whatever his name was, in Turkan was whatever, in St. Petersburg, blown up by the little peasant. Those were civilians. And the other one was the daughter of Alexander Dugin. Those were civilians killed with the approval of these guys. So what if someone does that to Trump's family? Obviously, gonna be a war, especially if Iran does it, right? What if Israel does it? Well, if Israel does it, we're gonna find out it was another, 19 hijackers from Saudi Arabia. Fuck it. Let's move on. God damn it. He didn't say anything about this one. How about this one? New Jerusalem temple burns down after the Ukrainian attack. Hey, fucker. How about that? Are you saying anything? The Orthodox complex in Russia's Belgorod region was deliberately targeted by drones, according to the government and local metropolitan bishop. Then the iconic New Jerusalem Orthodox temple has burned down as a result of a Ukrainian drone attack. That's what these guys say. I want to fucking hear you what you say. Where are you, baboon? Where are you? I want to hear you say you're going to sanction those guys. No? I think I said enough. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.